I'm saying? It's politics, nigga. Yeah, look. One same how it's gonna go, cuz. To one. Hold up. I said it's politics. You turn up on the homies like the opposite. I'm tired of this, it's politics, nigga. Ayy, cause you playing with my gang, and I got niggas that didn't die for this, it's obvious. He ain't tryna clip me while he popping it, I'm tired of this. 4 times to this, you on some poly shit, you fraudulent. Watch you politic, tiny rapping shit, I shoot too. Me and 2, 3, bitch, I'm Scotty.
Welcome to the Rise Weekly Review for October 19th through October 25th, 2020. Our top story for the week involved the shooting of an 8-year-old girl in East Chicago on Thursday evening. Around 10 p.m., police responded to a shooting on the 4500 block of Magoon Avenue. Around 16 shots were fired at a home from what is being described as an automatic weapon. The child was in her home living room working on her homework when a stray bullet from the shooting entered her home, striking her in the head. The child, identified as Tamia Andrews, was transported to Comer's Children's Hospital and last reported in critical condition. Police do not believe the child was the intended target. A $5,000 reward is being offered to anyone with information on the shooting. Anyone with information is being asked to contact Detective Miguel Peña at 219-391-8318 or leave an anonymous tip at 219-391-8500. A Friday shooting on the border of South Shore and South Chicago left a 28-year-old man wounded. The details are still unclear, but according to reports, the man was in a home near 79th and Saginaw when someone walked up to him and began firing shots. The man was struck in the ear and leg. He was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he was last reported in good condition. Early Sunday, a man was found dead in Griffith, Indiana. The man was found lying dead from multiple gunshot wounds in an apartment on the 1900 block of Park West Boulevard. He was identified as 30-year-old Preston Billings of Chicago. Anyone with information is asked to leave a tip at 219-922-3805. In other news, a man has been charged in the murder of 35-year-old Stacy Jones and her newborn child last week. 39-year-old Corey Deering was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths. Police are crediting community activist Andrew Holmes for helping to convince Deering to turn himself in. Police had previously held Deering for questioning within hours of the attack, but later released him pending more evidence. Deering was the father of the child, and reports suggest he did not want Jones to carry the child. Deering was a former youth football coach and Park District supervisor. Jones was shot to death by her home on the 2100 block of East 95th Place in Jeffrey Manor. She was 8 months pregnant at the time. While doctors were able to deliver her baby, the baby died a few days after delivery. A GoFundMe page has been set up to help the family with funeral expenses and to help her surviving children. The link is at the bottom of the page right here. Chicago police have released surveillance footage of a suspect in the murder of 23-year-old Joseph Wright that took place in 2019 in South Shore. A 45-year-old man was also injured in the incident. Police have released footage of a man running with a handgun from a white SUV. The shooting occurred on December 30th around the 2100 block of East 69th Street around 11:25 a.m. Anyone with information on the incident is asked to contact Chicago police. Hammond and East Chicago police are looking into an incident involving a man who was stalking and potentially attempting to abduct a pregnant woman who worked at a Hammond Menards. The woman reports that the man in the photo harassed her at work and attempted to open her car door while she was leaving work. Reports suggest the man sat outside the Menards waiting for the woman for around 40 minutes for her to leave work. Reports state that the man reportedly followed the woman to her home in East Chicago, Indiana. He was seen purchasing tow cabling at the store. A blurred photo of the man was posted on local media stations. Politics took center stage this week as former Vice President Joe Biden debated Donald Trump. The debate between the two candidates was much tamer than the previous debates, with both candidates laying out their differences in policies. However, news of the debate was overshadowed by stories coming out of the surging rise in U.S. COVID-19 cases and deaths, and of the Trump administration's failure to reunite over 500 children with parents after being separated during the president's family separations actions. Local politics were also in the forefront of news during the week, as the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, run by Trump appointee Ben Carson, launched an investigation into the purchase of the clout-heavy General Iron by RMG Industries that was greenlighted by city and state officials. HUD announced the action in response to complaints by several local community groups that accused Mayor Lightfoot and Aldermen Hopkins from Lincoln Park and Alderwoman Susan-Sadlowski Garza in Chicago's 10th Ward of environmental racism. The groups have been attempting to prevent RMG from expanding its operations to include those of its acquisition. Community groups have pointed out a history of failures by both General Iron and RMG Industries in holding up existing environmental standards. Residents of Lincoln Park fought to remove General Iron from their area due to its multiple environmental violations and area pollution. On Sunday, groups organized by local youth activists staged a protest around stopping the expansion of RMG. The protest began at George Washington High School before moving to the 10th Ward Alderwoman's house.
We matter! We live here! We matter! We live here! We matter! We live here! We matter! We live here!
The group, which was primarily organized by youth activists, claimed that they were protesting in front of the Alderwoman's home because of her refusal to deliver a letter to Mayor Lightfoot during the week that specifically denounced the expansion of RMG to include the General Iron purchase. While the Alderwoman has come out against the move on local media, groups have accused the Alderwoman of not pushing hard enough to deny the permits that were being issued by the city in order to allow the movement of General Iron into RMG properties. The protest was mainly organized by groups associated with the Bridges, Puentes Collective, and other area youth organizations. However, local political opposition to the current Alderwoman also appeared to be involved. Former failed candidate Olga Bautista, who ran against Sadlowski in 2015, was among the speakers. The group also included members of a new political organization called the United Neighbors of the 10th Ward, along with members of the Sanders-affiliated Democratic Socialists of America. It is unclear of the relationship of these groups to the Sunday's actions. However, Bautista's 2015 campaign and current coalition against pet coke is said to be heavily tied to regional and national socialist organizations, including the International Socialist Organization and the Socialist Worker Party. A pair of local conservative pastors is also asking the federal courts for an injunction against the move by RMG Industries. Pastor Richard Martinez of the Nehemiah Family Fellowship, who is also another opponent of Sadlowski Garza in the 2015 election, and Reverend Roosevelt Watkins III of the Bethlehem Star Church, filed a lawsuit suing Mayor Lightfoot and the city. The pastor's complaint alleges that money and clout influenced Lightfoot and key aldermen in arranging the move from Lincoln Park to the heavily Hispanic southeast side of Chicago. The suit names lobbyists with known ties to former Mayor Richard Daley and the Hispanic Democratic Organization, Rich Victor Reyes, who represented General Iron in 2019 and is alleged to have been involved in working with former Mayor Rahm Emanuel to secure multiple meetings with General Iron in 2017 and 2018. The suit names both Alderman Tom Tooney of the 44th Ward and Scott Waguespack of the 32nd Ward. It accuses them both of accepting tens of thousands of dollars in political contributions from General Iron in order to streamline the move. In other news, a proposal submitted by the Claretian Associates and the South Chicago Parents and Friends Organization was accepted as part of the Chicago Invest Southwest Initiative. The initiative provides funding to community-based organizations to coordinate public and private investments in neighborhood commercial corridors. The groups are provided corridor management services through a 5-year contract valued at around $80,000 per year. The contract is given to groups to aid them in realizing their plans for revitalization of the area corridors. The Claretian Associates has been involved in decades in area redevelopment and revitalization efforts. However, they have also faced criticism by community groups over their support for the South Chicago gentrification efforts on the former USX site that were led by former Alderman John Pope and the Cloudheavy McCaffrey Development Corporation. And finally, a local family is seeking help in finding 2 missing puppies by the name of Brownie and Chop. They recently escaped from a home on the east side and last seen near 106th through 104th and Ewing Avenue. The photo for the dogs are provided, and anyone with information is asked to contact Nicole at 773-905-9609. We thank you all for joining us for this week in review. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week.